Captain, we have a problem.
What is it?
I can't find Camellios anywhere.
Cotton.
What do we do?
There's nothing we can do.
What?
We'll never see him again. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, if there's one thing that this series has in spades, it is incredible monsters. Nearly every single one of them is awesome in lore, even if not in their actual combat in the game, and because of that, there lays a lot of excitement in the idea and possibility of returning monsters. Another opportunity to have a go at a concept and see what gets made out of it in the actual game. An unfortunate truth, however, is while there are no hard written rules about this kind of stuff, there are certain kinds of monsters who just have a nearly 0% chance of ever showing up in the series again. And not because they are bad monsters, but simply because of the circumstances surrounding their place in the series. Today I'll be going over my top 5 monsters that we will never see again, as in the ones that I am most disappointed that we won't be seeing. Without further ado, number 5.
Gold, 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 gold.
Kulve Taroth. The giant golden jaggrass herself, this big lizard was quite the splash when it was first added to the series. The first main series entry monster that was affected by 16 hunters all at once, even if not in the same quest together. The system was cool, even if it did wear down on us over time. Her fight was very memorable. The original fight had a first phase where you basically just chased her around for ages, and then the fight would begin after that. But in Iceborne, the master rank version of Kulve just had a more or less regular hunt that was much more enjoyable to just spam on repeat. However, this lovely lady has the unfortunate position of being a monster who has their entire own map exclusively dedicated to them. As well, she wouldn't really make sense to move to another map either. On top of that, she has a whole siege system dedicated to her that definitely will never be remade, and most disappointing about it all to me is the potential that she has for subspecies and variants. Kulve Taroth is awesome, and the concepts that people in the community had come up for things like Crystal Kulve or Silver Kulve, I really liked those, and unfortunately, there's just no chance in my mind that we will ever get something like that in the new Monster Hunter game, even on the incredibly, ridiculously tiny chance that we did get Kulve Taroth herself. Number 4.
He's a whale of a whale.
Ceadeus. This big, horny whale is one of my favorite monsters conceptually, especially the whole lore behind why he is an issue and why we have to fight him. The whole idea that his horns just won't stop growing and is causing him pain, so the only way to stop him from hitting his head against the seawall and causing quakes is to go down there and chop off his horn ourselves. We don't even have an interest in actually killing him, we're just there to help him out and break his horn. When it comes to underwater monsters, this guy is one of the most notable, partially because there is just no way he could ever translate to land-based combat. There's no chance. And that said, even on the very low chance that we do ever get another underwater-focused Monster Hunter game again, I just can't see them giving a whole giant slot to Ceadeus. To justify underwater as a focus again, it would have to be wildly different than the first time. And to me, in that world, Ceadeus just wouldn't really fit anymore either, as much as I would love to see him redone in the new age of Monster Hunter. Number 3.
See this tentacle? It's actually shorter than all my other tentacles. But you can't really tell, especially when I twirl them like this.
Yama Tsukami. The floating octopus elder dragon, this one has always been one of my favorite monsters just overall, just of all time, even long before I ever fought one for myself. There's something just so agreeable about him to me. The way that he peacefully floats along as a giant balloon octopus, and then sometimes he gets hungry so he just sucks in everything in sight. Yes, he eats animals, but he only really wants the soil. The animals are just an accident, you know? He keeps thunderbugs in his mouth. He has basically human teeth for no explicable reason, and he hasn't returned in a main series Monster Hunter game since the 2nd generation. That is a long time. The way I see it with these last 3 that I have on this list, this one included, there is a small chance that maybe one of them could show up in Sunbreak, but they occupy similar slots, so it's definitely not multiple. The reason is just because I think Sunbreak really excels with these types of creatures. But on the other hand, I think if they don't return in Sunbreak, none of the 3 will return again. They just all fit too well within the wirebug combat system to justify not bringing them back with wirebugs and then bringing them back without wirebugs. Number 2.
What is it?
A snake. Bloody big snake.
Dalla Madur. Look, as much as I love Yama Tsukami, I think it would be an even bigger disappointment overall if my boy Dalamadur didn't get another chance to show his face in the new era of Monster Hunter, especially in Sunbreak itself. Just imagine a fight with the verticality that this game has. The giant open maps and cliffs with a Dalamadur digging through everything instead of just being static on a mountain range that you have to go through zones to find different parts of his body one at a time. There is no version of a Dalamadur fight within my imagination that would be more engaging and enjoyable than a Dalamadur fight based around using wire bugs to position yourself and follow him around as needed. It would be awesome. Sunbreak is an incredible opportunity for this monster, but there is still a very low chance of him returning. Put simply, bringing something like this back into the series, and also in the way that I am suggesting, would be a monumental effort, and it is entirely possible that using similar design principles to create an entirely different monster, a new monster would result in something even cooler. In fact, if you are changing it that much from the original experience, that's probably the way that they would take it. Rather than a full and complete fight change for something that already exists, just make something new. Number 1.
Your weapons are powerless against my new mech.
Edelka. And this one just seems impossible to leave out, even though she was only even added to the series in Generations Ultimate, literally the final entry before the system overhauls in Monster Hunter. And she was even the final boss of that game. And yet there is something about that fight that just absolutely screams that it would only get better with more time and with better engines surrounding it. Past that, she essentially herself uses wire bugs as movement and as weapons, almost as if she literally inspired the concepts at play before they turned Rise into what it is. Think about it, it is still called Iron Silk in Rise. How far off is that from the golden silk that Edelka uses for the same purposes and with the same reasonings? On top of this, she makes a goddamn mech that she controls with the Iron Silk. She literally is wyvern riding her own creature. Come on, how on earth, just how could they not put this monster into Sunbreak, right? And yet, they won't. They will not. They don't bring back final bosses. It's not written down anywhere, but they just don't. Not even just that, but the final boss of a game, the generation just beforehand. Not even any real separation in between. And the thing is, once Sunbreak is over and we still don't have Edelka, it would be weird, right? Like how could you add Edelka to the next Monster Hunter game, knowing that we just passed Sunbreak, a game that is basically based around her entire concepts as a monster? A game that would be perfect to have her in it. It wouldn't make sense. To me, it's now or never, but now doesn't seem all that likely as much as I wish that it were. And that'll do it, everyone. I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been a bit of a discussion about monsters that won't return to the series that I personally believe absolutely should. Do you agree with my choices, or do you think that there are others destined to be left behind that deserve to be included even more? Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.